Game.
Here
Hello,
we go!
hello,
Woohoo!
hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dumbass class with me, the Dyslexic Gamer, and the boys with the extra one. He's no longer missing. Welcome
The
back.
boys are back in Hive.
That was quite good. Have an extra fortune. I liked that. Well, not fortune point, an extra point. Because remember, guys, in this game, you refresh every session 1 point.
Oh shit, yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh shit, does that put me over?
So, in the last episode, our group had a discussion back at the Drunken Eagle and had decided upon a course of action. So, after hiring a car for the day, with a driver and having paid for access to the Hive's express elevator, they set off. Their destination, the Arbites Fortress Precinct, but along the way they saw civilian unrest, basically, and they had a little poke and a prod and learnt that the population are not happy that their regiment's historical honours are basically being wiped out to conform with the rest of the Imperium's regimental designations. But it didn't seem to be getting too violent. Just words and insults were being thrown, nothing worse. As they made their way up, there was a bit more discussion on the elevator, and then their driver took them to the Fortress Precinct. And there, if I just bring everyone over to the map, now, you'd be surprised, there's no 40k fortress precincts, so the map's a little bit, you have to use your imagination, but it kind of works. So soon, Raccoon, do your job and zoom out.
Oh, that's a lot of little turrets. That's almost a swastika.
Someone pitched the tent here.
Nothing like it. So as I will ping, we have the cathedral to the God Emperor with a statue being built outside. These buildings, the cathedral here is probably the largest, which I think I said was 13 or 14 stories tall. The statue itself. Oh, the statue alone was that. So the cathedral is probably 20 stories, 25 stories tall.
There's a lot of Catholics on
there. The God Emperor worshipping souls. The cathedral actually had a small group of protesters outside, but one of the priests there were dispensing words of faith to calm the citizens and quell their worries and uprise their riotous behaviour. Over here, we have the Fortress Precinct for the Arbites. The buildings down in this area, these are the Administratum buildings, the Adeptus Munitorum, the Adeptus Administratum, the Adeptus Mechanicus have a small enclave here for data processing. This is the open area. Sorry, Jazina?
We will not be going to the Mechanicus Enclave.
It's very small. It's not. This area is dominated by the Ecclesiarchy and the Arbites. This is an open area which is selling. There are free stands here where they're selling food, drinks, as citizens come out of the workplace, and you can see some Arbites going over there to get a bite to eat and a recaf. You have the car park where your car is currently parked. Don't ask me which one it is. Who knows?
This one.
So as you and your group look over the area, you have an idea of what's going on. The statue is under construction. its arms are not folded. It's very difficult to find statues on Roll20. Its arms are actually out. Her arms would probably cross the road easily, and they're currently putting on her palm. Her palms are raised up. Yes, that's right. And there are a number of trucks with different pieces parked at the top end, out of the way. There is a real hustle and bustle going on here. What did we say the time was? It was like 3 hours for you to travel up. You left at 9. Yeah, we'll say 9. So it's now 12. There's still a decent hustle and bustle of people. The pathways are clear, like there's room to maneuver, but there's still thousands of people on the street. Are any of you from a hive world?
Mm-hmm.
I will take that as a no. So you
I'm from
just...
an Imperial world. Well, it was an Imperial world.
Yeah, no, it'd need the designation of hive world.
Okay.
And this is like your first time really being in the middle hive. The underhive is a little less structured. Yeah, that's not going to help. That's not going to help for a long old time. Actually, if you get kicked out of the hive into the Deadlands, maybe that will help.
I don't have survival though, I think.
How do you not have survival? You're coming from a fucking dead world.
I do have survival, one tick.
Okay.
So it's known. It's known to you. Yes, it is a thing.
I can just about survive.
Yes,
What
I know
are
I
your
can eat
actions gonna be?
corpses.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh dear. So what are your actions going to be as you're sat here? It's 12, just coming up to lunchtime.
Remind me again what was our goal is to get recon, right? Not to kill them.
No,
To
at the
recon
moment you're just
the
out for
2
recon.
Arbites.
Are
Just to
there
figure out which is
any food stores nearby? Like cafes, restaurants, bars?
I feel like you don't listen to me. It's sad. Yes, there are these tents here are all selling food and drink as people come out of the Adeptus buildings and the Arbites. You can see that enforcers do come and go out of the Arbites precinct. Enforcers actually patrol around. Every now and then you'll just see a smoking enforcer coming round the corner of the precinct.
Just to confirm, we're not looking for enforcers are the bog standard. They're like the equivalent of troops, right? We're looking for 2 judges.
Arbites.
Or Arbites.
Yeah, you're looking for Arbites. Yeah, enforcers are just the basic police of 40k. But
They're like local enforcers,
Yeah.
where the Arbites are like from the actual administratum structure, and not the administratum adeptus structures. Like,
so let's say some bumpkin town in the middle of nowhere has murders. Well, the enforcers
That's
might
enforcement.
capture the murders, but they'll call in the Arbites to do the investigation and the real work. They're just like, America's what is it? Deputies?
I don't remember the difference between deputies and actual cops, to be honest.
You mean detectives? Or
No, deputies. So
constables.
they have some power. They can arrest people, but they don't question them. They don't touch evidence. They just...
Oh, you're thinking of the
yeah, you mean the enforcers or deputies? Like, gotcha.
Yes.
How easy is it to tell the enforcers from the Arbites apart? Is it
Very
super
easy. Very easy. The Arbites are full Arbites armor. They get given that when they become an Arbite. Light
full
carapace.
carapace, Judge Dredd fucking helmet and
Yes.
shock mauls and shotguns out the ass.
Yes, suppression shields, they get given real good stuff. The Enforcers, at best, have a flak helmet and a flak vest and a shotgun. Maybe a beating stick that actually collapses.
Classical beacon stick, okay.
Do we just do surveillance, or should we try, going to a equivalent of a donut store and purchasing a bunch of donuts and saying that's a delivery for the diabetes?
Hey,
I like that plan. It won't work, but I like it.
I think it's a good plan for getting the shit beat out of you. But
Not gonna lie, donuts are delicious.
You're not gonna know until you try and get the shit beaten out of you.
alright, I vote we send Mordecai to do that.
I've had enough head injuries for one lifetime at this point.
Oh no,
Nice.
these are actual trained police officers. They know to aim for center mass. So
Well,
keep
that
your
makes
head
it,
this time.
That makes it so much better. Thank you.
Which one is the precinct here? This one is the
It's
thing,
the one-
right?
It's the one with the
This-
gun on it.
Oh, it's straight across from okay.
Yeah. I mean, how many stories was it again? Sorry.
20 something?
The precinct, or the precinct's probably around 12, 13.
So yeah, we could collapse the statue onto it and make it look like an axe. No.
You got any C4? Or no, thermite? You got any
I mean, I have ordered some blasting tubes. What do you call?
Yeah, but thermite is useful for cutting solid plan.
You do
Anyway.
need to remember the palm is being lifted up by a crane. The crane is a 40k Mechanicus construction that actually clings onto the scaffolding, so it can get into areas that a normal everyday crane couldn't. It is a wonder of the machine god, but it's like Jenny knows at the very least, it might not have a tech priest that operates it and runs it. It might be a tributary of the Mechanicus. But it does have strings that could be cut. If you wanted to do it that way, it'd be difficult. Jenny could take control of the machine and have it accident that way. There are multiple possibilities. You could also collapse the scaffold altogether, bringing down the Mechanicus's crane, and just go fuck it. Well, we've mission complete. So,
I mean, is it really mission complete? Because we're told to kill 2 guys and make it look like an accident. The third guy is preferably not kill him.
or
But
you
at the same...
did mention another option. Poisoning. That is
But
also
we
something you
don't-
could do.
Thing is, we don't want the poison because that leads to the poison kids, because that's literally what they do. They poison people.
Yeah.
The one thing we could do with the poison, though, is if we went for the whatever drugs the acid riot was using.
Okay, see, the original plan for this was to just to determine which judges we need, which Arbites are which, because there's 3 of them. Two of them are the guys we need to kill. The other guy's innocent.
Yeah, we still don't know what they look like. Both Fenton Smith and Pumpkin Lawrence or whatever.
I mean, we could use our cover story already and to use that and try and set up a meeting with the one we don't want to kill, so we know what they
here's
look
the
like.
thing, why would we
But
go
why
to the
don't?
Almighties? Yeah.
Because it
what
needs to
are
be...
the options to identify Arbites?
Actually,
Get them to take their helmet off. Take a photo of them.
Technically try to sell it off as we want to talk with one of the Arbites that deal with like legal matters, because those exist. Like Arbites have numerous branches, and
True.
presumably there would be one in the Fortress Precinct, maybe. But I don't know how that would get us anywhere where we want to be. Because I don't know about you, but I don't fancy our chances sneaking into the precinct.
Yeah.
So you just by sitting and watching, you can see that a large number of enforcers come in and out. You know, let's say it's now 2 o'clock. So if you're happy
Jenny
to
would
sit for
probably
2
go grab
hours,
something from the food stands to not look as conspicuous.
Yeah, we should all go to the food stands, I think, to be quite honest.
sure, okay. So we'll do just an hour. So an hour goes past, and as lunchtime starts, you will get out and start moving with the crowd. You see just a throng of people coming out of the Adepti buildings. I guess that will work. Down to the bottom right of the screen. Just a torrent come out, and you see these poor food sellers. They all prepare for it. They're visibly tense as just this horde descends upon them, demanding food and not having much time to wait.
Insert SpongeBob worm gif here.
As you get closer, you can see that also a number of the enforcers come out of the Fortress Precinct, although these enforcers aren't carrying any equipment. There's no armor, they're just in the robes of the Arbites. But you can see they have data slates, and they're clearly going out to pick up food for people still in the office. In that hour, and as you're walking down to get some food yourselves and see the madness that is a hive at lunch, you don't see that many Arbites coming out on like lunch break. But as you kind of start looking towards the Fortress Precinct, I'll give this one to you that you do see a Judge Dredd-esque character walking through the windows, those that are open and are clear glass. So Arbites are definitely in the building, but maybe they're too busy to actually take a break and go and get their own food. Who knows?
Yeah.
Lena's gonna look at Jenny and she's gonna ask, Jenny, is there any way for us to tap the communications of the enforcers of the Arbites so you can actually listen what they're doing?
Possibly, but I would need a comm leech, which I do not possess, and such devices are generally not really liked by the Mechanicus. It's a bit of a gray area.
Okay.
And they're not exactly easy to get.
What about getting access to the...
For example, if were one to ascribe an arbitrary rarity to the comm leech, it would be very rare. But, you know.
Is there any way for you to tap into the cogitators of the Arbites and you get access to their files?
If you give me one of their cogitators, sure.
Or Jenny, you would need a portable cogitator.
Yeah, I know.
And you don't have one of them either, so...
Exactly. Yeah, comm leech is a somewhat heretical item in the eyes of the Mechanicum.
Not when the Mechanicus use them.
Well, obviously, because then they can't be heretical, but...
When others use them, ooh, I smell heresy.
It mine knocked up, no one else. But it has special edition toaster.
Let's not go into that kind of territory.
But
I
serious.
had a perfect thing for it.
Jenny, would you be able to get into I will use modern terms, the Arbeitis personnel database? Like, pull that data
No.
and that we then process it.
The Arbites, you don't have access to the Arbites cogitators, and you don't have the equipment to do it. Jenny would know just through how difficult Mechanicus codes are. The Arbites would be not as difficult, but they'd have very strong anti-hacking systems in place. Not impossible, but very, very difficult. And you'd need a lot of specialist equipment.
Which we do not have.
So, any ideas? Should we stay here and keep surveillance until we find one of them leaving? Or should we try something else?
Out of character, remind me, we have their names, do we have their pictures?
We don't.
No.
Yeah, so that's
See,
the problem.
What kind of info can we swipe from these datasets? The serfs are basically.
Would we
running
be
around
able
looking
to spoof Arbeitis call?
Again, specialist equipment we don't exactly have.
But
Lilian's gonna look.
can
see.
enforcers make specific calls to Arbeitis? I want
Probably.
Arbeitis X and Y. How hard would it be to get some unguarded enforcers? Knock them out, lock them up somewhere, grab their stuff.
And
Then-
what then?
But that would leave a visible trail. Because it would just be too coincidental when, hey, they got out there, and suddenly that building collapsed. Weird. Yeah. Nope.
How? Jenny, you're the one that knows this. Can we get access to the Arbeitis network through an enforcer data slate?
Very much unlikely, I would think, out of character.
Data slates don't have a connection to an updated cogitator. So you would
but they
take a
have
data
data
slate
stored.
in, you'd take a data slate in, you'd connect it to the main cogitator for the Arbites, for example. It would
Yeah, and then they
download
would
your
upload
day's
it
roster,
and-
and then they'd unplug it. It doesn't get updated after that. So if anything changes, then
So
they have to go
basically
in
are
and plug it
essentially
in.
like flash drives with screens and
Yes.
basic like functionality of a tablet. But
Your
they
ones are
don't have
different.
an internet connection.
So, and it depends on the quality as well. Your ones are different. They function as mastercrafted for hacking, and so people can't break into them. They've got the maximum penalty they can get, but they look like poor quality ones. You don't have the advantage of a mastercrafted one that can actually record videos, take photos, and other things like that. You do have a floating skull that's hovering around.
True.
They're pretty bloody useful. It's and you can modify them.
Yeah, but
Hold
I
up.
would-
Skull, can your I forget the name. Can your skull thingy record stuff?
Oh, Hector has, I would imagine, some very basic. He doesn't have a picture recorder as far as I know, but
I do not have any function to record video footage, and I only have a basic memory for recording commands and conversation. However, I can record 5 seconds of communication for playback.
It's not exactly a lot, but you know.
Can we? Lilian's gonna look at you. Forgive me for my heresy, but could we strap a pick recorder into the side of its head, and he could use his tiny little tentacle arms to operate the pick recorder?
Those are first of all, the manipulator arms are a bit too short, not precise enough. Well, they are precise, just not in the manner we need. And second, first of all, the quality of the image would be terrible. And second of all, there would be a floating service co with a picked recorder bluntly duct taped to it.
Yes, it's genius.
It's actually not. It would raise suspicion. Now, I could, in theory, add subsystems to Hector's form, but well, that's neither here nor there right now.
I mean, Hector can record 5 seconds. Maybe he could just take a good look, come back, show it to us, and we upload
Audio.
the 5. Oh, audio?
Yeah, audio.
That doesn't really help. I don't know, Jenny. You're the tech priest. Is there any way for us to do something, or?
There's not much I can think of that wouldn't involve taking massive risks. I'm sorry.
Is there any enforcers nearby in a group I can transmit to?
Yeah, there's a number of them in a group leaving the fortress precinct. There's a couple who are on their own. There's a few that are in groups going down. The ones that are in groups clearly look like they're foot sloggers. They're patrolling areas because they've got their armor on, and they've got their weapons still equipped. The ones on their own or in very small groups, again, are just wearing the robes.
Right. I'm just trying to make casual ass. Just trying
Casual ass.
casually walk past and such, and just kind of try and blend in with the crowd. And just trying to overhear if they're saying I catch anything important or interesting from them.
Okay, let me see what Nuffle decides for you. Okay, can you roll me a scrutiny perception as well?
Perception. Okay. No modifiers or any negatives?
No modifiers. In fact, there should be only Darius, because he's the only one who's walked off and tried to listen in to a group of enforcers. There'd actually be a -10 because there are so many people and there is just a drone of civilians and other imbeciles.
Would I be able to use my clues from the crowd on this in case it fails?
Yes, you would. This is the exact time that you would use it with a perception base.
Yep. Good thing I modified that. Good thing I not modified that. Good thing I specified that. Alright, no. That did fuck all.
Sadly not. You do hear from, because Nuffle decided to hit you with a group. So as you're walking by, you would definitely hear, I believe it's Romero, you would hear one of them drop his name. But as you hear, Romero, this group of adepts just walk past you, just screeching binary at each other. and it just completely distracts you and blurts out your hearing, and you don't hear as they push on through the crowd. You would notice that the enforcers, they do push past members of the Administratum. They give the Adeptus Mechanicus, everyone gives the Adeptus Mechanicus a kind of wary pass, you know. They have a bit of space as they're walking through the crowd. Jenny would notice this if she was in her Mechanicus robes, but she's not. So yeah, the enforcers just make their way past and you don't hear what they were saying.
Alright. I'll walk away for a little bit longer before returning to the group. So it's not like, oh, I just walk right past again.
Sure. As you walk round, can you roll me a 1d100? Because yeah, 1d100. You are kind of, you're not, as far as I've seen from your backstory and your problem with trusting new people, and you're surrounded by strangers at the moment. Let's see how Nuffle provides.
Oh god, I'm a paranoid fucking schizophrenic.
So unfortunately, you're surrounded by people who are talking and just, you're trying to see an area in which you can get out, and you're not from a hive world, so you're kind of trapped in this line that's, and there are lines either side of you, and in the end you just decide it's best to keep your head down, wait for the best opportunity to make your exit, but it doesn't seem to come as you trudge forwards. You're now in the line to get recaf, and you can't escape.
It's like the time I got stuck in Costa.
Do we see him stuck in the line?
No, he's lost. Well, I'll tell you what. Give me an awareness check, -20, because there's again, think festival levels of people, just on narrow passageways for what it was.
Jesus
But
Christ.
with a six, you see the group that Darius was trying to follow, and you see the adepts come in, and you're like, hang on, Darius has disappeared. Hang on, wait a minute. You get Mordecai over, and you kind of hop up onto his, getting a little bit more height. You notice that, hang on, he's trapped. He's in the recaf line. I think it's the recaf or it's the ration line. Not quite sure which line he's in, but he's trapped, and you can see he's like looking round whilst keeping his head down. Like, you reckon he's looking for a way out, but there's just a press of people all going in one direction, and he just can't fight that wave.
Point out his predicament to the group and ask for assistance.
Higher assistance. It's too many people.
What the bloody hell did he go do that for?
I'm gonna go in his direction.
Matt, what
If
happened?
I have to weave through the crowd, I'm gonna weave through the crowd.
Yeah, they'll join and help.
You'd like to weave through the crowd, would you? There's a rule for that. You're not hivers, so you don't get the benefit of weaving through the crowd. It's an agility test.
It's not
Let me
exactly.
just-
Yeah, basically, want to go bumping my way until I can get to.
Yeah.
to
So
him.
the problem is,
Sorry, excuse me.
the problem is you're not imagining it correctly. This is thousands of people going to get food, and they're all going in the same direction. So the amount of room you have to nip and dive, there is none. You're pushing through people. So you either need to give me an acrobatics with a -10, or a athletics with a -10. Because you're using your athletics, you're using your strength or your toughness to barge or push people out of the way. I know they sound similar, but they're not. Or acrobatics, you're using your agility to nimbly get through and bob and weave, or your strength to literally push people off people and dive through gaps and Yeah,
Yeah.
it's difficult
I
to
have a
explain all
question.
those.
Where are we on the map right now? Because we were just by the food stalls here. Do we
No,
move
so
away
you were
from that,
making your
or-
way. You were making your way to the food stalls as
okay.
1 o'clock turned, because you were there in the car
got
park
it.
at 12, and then we moved on an hour, and you were like, "Oh, we'll go and get food so we don't look suspicious." And it's like, okay, well that's lunchtime. So you're now in the press of people. A really great time to get information, but if you want to try and dodge weave, yeah, skills, please. You can get in the tide, but if you want to fight against it or with it, delicious mouthful.
I'm trying to find gossip. I don't think there is gossip in this.
It's
No,
inquiry.
it's
inquiry
inquiry.
in this.
I
Also,
don't have that.
the bearded halfling strikes again.
Oh boy. If you have, I do believe you have, you should probably roll that because otherwise you're gonna die being stomped on.
So, you can use a fortune point if you'd like. I don't stop you from using them on
I want to
hundreds.
see where this goes. I'll roll with it.
Oh,
Okay,
dear.
okay. So Ezio,
Yeah.
as you're like lifting up off Mordecai's shoulders, trying to find out where Darius is, you've pinpointed him. You let the others know, and they kind of flounder as to what to do. Now, you've moved through the guard regiments back in the day, and you were able to. You think you can do this, so you wait for your opportune moment to join the wave of people just moving towards to get food. And you try and just bob and weave, and you make it through a couple of people before your leg gets tripped up by someone who moved into the gap that you were trying to get through. And as you're stumbling and tripping, you're barging people out of the way, and just there's now a decent number of people that you've ended up pushing, and they've pushed into other people, and a small domino effect has started to work out, you being the cause. As the number of people begin to fall away, and you're hopping trying to keep you hit the floor, but unfortunately you take out a small scribe who falls as you fall on top of her. A number of people are pushed out to the side, and oi, what the throne, what do you think you're doing trying to push in? Yeah, we've been working hard for the Emperor, and we're not pushing. You get to the back of the queue, you. Ezio, as you look up, you see a crowd of angry people. And as you look down, you see a small female, maybe a small male, squashed underneath you. The data slate in her hands pushed deeply onto his chest. Just like, get off!
Is he close enough that I can?
Apologize, and I bolt away.
Okay,
In the direction
so
of where I saw the group last.
so you want to get up, look around the crowd, and then bolt out.
I do
So-
apologize. I do apologize.
So you get up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, and then you bolt for it. So you're tripping up people, and there being a domino effect has caused. It's taking a while for people to get up because they're all pushing down on top of each other, and it's a bit of a mess. The front row has to get up first in an ideal world to make room for the subsequent. So you've got enough time to dart back the way you came, and just try and head for the group, because you're not that far in. You're maybe like 20 meters before you fell, like stopped moving and landed on this poor scribe.
Yes. And
So is that what you do? You get up, apologise, and dart for it?
I dart towards the... I try to regroup with the group.
Okay, cool.
Mordecai's just giving you a look of how did you manage to mess that up so horrifically?
Darius, there's a commotion behind you. You're not quite sure where it is. It's somewhere back there. And because there's been a commotion, everyone's stopped and a lot of people are turning around to see what's going on. You see your point where if you want to exit, you can, but you'll need to give me a athletics, acrobatics roll with either of the attributes.
Athletics or acrobatics?
Yes, either one with either of the attributes.
Okay. Nope.
So you don't fail so badly. You are able to get through. You barge into a couple of people, but with only 1 degree of failure, because you don't add +1 for degrees of failure. You're out of the crowd. You can find your way back to the group.
Where is my recap?
Shooting a glare. Shut up. There's too many people. Too many fucking people. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Can we
First, the weird feeling of weight, not metal under the. This world is weird.
just
Ezio, can you roll me a 1d3?
Oh no.
I am curious about the street food, though.
Maybe we should try it, you know. How often are we going to be up here?
I
Oh,
would
fuck.
if but sea of people.
So, as you guys regroup and kind of just look in awe of the sea of people, you would notice that, well, actually, everyone roll me awareness. -10, because there's so many people. Yeah, just a -10. I think. Well, actually, no, you are looking for these. So, I'll say a +10 overall.
son of a bitch.
Can I also roll Psyniscience? Is that?
That's entirely up to you.
I'm gonna spend a fate point. No, fuck it. Let's see where it goes. I don't want to use a fate point on that.
Like,
The rest of
guys
it is
are
fine.
really all over the place. It's either a success, a high success, or a crit fail.
Yeah,
Well, yes.
it works.
So, okay. Yep, okay, no, that works. Sure.
It's John Connor.
As you are all stood around, conversing, talking, watching the sea of people move. Jenny, Ezio, Mordecai, and Liliana. As Darius is telling you his tale of heroism as he faced the queue for recaf, but had to make a valiant withdrawal. You notice that a lot of people that Ezio kind of barged and ultimately got the domino effect. As they start to get up, some of them are hurt.
Oh no.
Some of them seem to be wounded. Very thin, pasty Adeptus Administratum personnel who spent most of their years at a desk typing away, are not the toughest individuals. And you can see that a number of the enforcers who got caught up in it have been looking around. I can't remember if enforcers have microbeads. I don't think they all do. I think it's only the captains. And you can see that it was not just a little accident. People seem quite angry, but they're moving along because, again, scribes, not the strongest either. And just as a reminder, the horde of people who are outside the church protesting, they've also joined the food queue. Apparently you can't protest on an empty stomach. Not even for the God Emperor, it seems.
Perhaps.
But Ezio and Liliana, you would definitely notice that as Darius tells you about how there was an amazing coincidence that led to his evacuation from the hostile zone. You notice an individual in black, covered black, walks down the steps of the fortress precinct, and he seems to have quite a large something in his hands.
Oh no.
Can I roll to see what he's holding?
Well, as Darius finishes off his story, the gentleman in black, at first you may have thought, is he coming for lunch? Maybe he's just getting lunch. But his visored helm has been looking in your direction for quite some time, and it doesn't seem to be moving from your direction. And you're pretty sure he's coming over to your group. He's about 80 meters away. You got a good roll on that. So yeah, he's about 80 meters away. But you definitely get the feeling as if you've just become prey and you've been sighted.
Lydia is gonna look at Ezio and she's gonna say, "Whatever you do, you either run. You either run right now, Ezio. Whatever you did, you have two options right now. You either run for your life and become a criminal, or you wait for that man to get here and then you apologize to him vigorously while I try to suggest that it wasn't you."
Sure, I can do that.
70 meters.
I try to put up my innocent face.
Do you have an innocent face?
60 meters.
I'm just gonna get really interested in a street sign somewhere. It's like
50
Does
meters.
anyone else of the group have something to say?
no.
I'm gonna wander off. I'm carrying a lot of
40
pistols in my
meters.
backpack.
Oh,
This is what you get for climbing on my back, buddy.
30 meters. He's in earshot. 20 meters.
Is it possible for
10
us to see the name
meters.
tag? I'm gonna be a little
if
bit
I look at
away
you
from Ezio.
what
5
do I
meters.
Yeah.
Citizen, identify yourself.
Don't use
see?
your
I'm
real
Agnes.
Thank God. I was like, please don't use your real name.
Citizen,
What is
you've
the
been
name?
reported to be disrupting the peace. What is your excuse?
Sorry, sir. I stumbled. And I apologized and I got back up and tried to get and started moving along.
Deception. Deceive. I'll give you a plus 10 to it because you came up not a bad, I stumbled and fell and, just it's believable. It's not what he's had, but it's believable.
Fellowship or intelligence?
It would be fellowship,
Damn
but
it.
because you came up with it quite quickly, and you not everyone can do that. I will give you intelligence if that's better for you.
Thank you.
Can I cast a spell on this dude?
Wait till I have rolled.
Might be harder after you roll.
So he can succeed. Well, no. I should actually get him to roll scrutiny. I think they actually have a skill where they can have a running skill. Why do they have a running skill? What? Okay, they don't get what the player gets. But he does succeed against your degrees of failure. So he looks at you and... That is not what the reports say, citizen. I have a report saying that you tried to jump the queue. And failing to do so, you caused a collision with other citizens. He gestures with his hand, where you can still see some citizens who... I'll give Liliana, because she's still in the area, and you got a good roll. Some of the citizens who were a little bit hurt seem to be playing it up a little bit more.
I'm just gonna
Thus disrupting the peace around here. On top of that, you have just lied to an Arbite. He brings out a data slate and puts his riot gun on its strap over his shoulder.
Before anything, can we see a name tag?
Arbites don't have name tags.
Okay.
What special forces in the world would have, especially law enforcement, would have a name tag?
Is there any distinguishing marks on the armor, such as a stripe indicating a sergeant?
Okay,
or
can you
yada,
give
yada, yada?
me an awareness check with a -10? You can take 5 and get a +10. But he may end up
I'll
seeing.
take 5.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, so you notice a symbol on his armor. It is his armor is black. It's matte black, but the symbol is in a gloss black, so it's difficult to see as is. Can you roll me Arbite's knowledge to know which, or you can default and roll a -20 intelligence.
Oh, I don't have common lore Arbites or forbidden lore Arbites.
Yep. No, it'd be common or scholastic. You could roll underworld, because I guess the underworld would have an idea, but I'd want more degrees of success.
Could I use Imperial Guard to see if there's
it's-
any kind of... Pardon?
No, carry on. So Imperial
See if there's
Guard, you can. You'd need a lot of degrees of success.
My trail of thinking is if the market has anything similar to the squad and regimental markings. Because
so
there's
these would
different
be
ways to indicate-
markings. They are definitely markings to show what type of trooper they are. But you don't know well. Nuffle has not decided if you know what each symbol means. If that makes sense.
Yeah. All right.
Because again, you don't want a sniper shooting someone who's got a symbol because they think, oh, he's a sergeant or he's a lieutenant or he's a major. If they don't know, then oh, he's got a symbol, he's got a symbol, he's got a symbol. Well, who's the high ranking? It's one of those confuse your enemies and your allies, because they could be your enemies.
All right. I'll take the -20 intelligence.
Sure,
Wing
see
it.
if Nuffle favours you.
Ooh. Can I spend a fate point to get a +10?
You can, or you could spend a fate point to re-roll it. It's up to you
Yeah,
which you decide is better.
I think 22 is more achievable than 12, so...
You did just get a 5, so...
Yeah, I just got a 5. I'm not going to push my luck anymore. See?
Yeah. So no, sadly you don't know, but you can point it out to the rest of your comrades.
Bitch!
I knew the next one you roll would be a 12.
I hate Roll20 and their fucking predetermined rolls. Oh.
What's that for?
Roll20 already calculates your first 100 rolls as soon as you join a session.
Really?
Yeah. So my next roll
That
would have been a
makes
7.
Okay, so what we need is everyone buys
Huh.
like a cheap webcam, and we set up like a dice cam for everyone.
I'm already on webcam.
I have literal dice from Warhammer World now, so...
I have a
So,
box full of dice.
Darius, you can let the rest of your team know, because you do have combeads. They're not the most... they're not high quality
I don't
where they
have a
can be
combead.
hidden easily. Oh. Okay. Because you've also all spread out now, so you can't be guaranteed that everyone's noticing the same things.
I literally fucked off because I don't want to get searched because I have like fucking 4 guns in my backpack.
So, Ezio, as you look up at this imposing figure as he's writing on a data slate,
I would like to approach
his weapon
too.
over his shoulder on a sling. Citizen, you have 2 options here. 60 days in 60 days in solitary. 30 days in the workforce, or a 300 throne fine on the spot. You may choose which one you would prefer to pay. For context, £300 for most citizens is a huge thrones is a huge amount of money. Probably 3 to 4 months' wages.
Well, we have plenty.
I
do.
would. I don't I presume any options to debate their
Do you
statements
want to do
is
time?
gone.
Do you want to be gone for 2 months?
Yeah, I don't think you want to do that. It's 300 thrones. That's
I
a
want
very
to
good.
pay, but I just want to try and ask him if there's any options to. What's, by lack of better words in my vocabulary, contest their claims?
Citizen,
God damn it, James.
did you just ask to
Can I-
contest our claims? He
Can I
quick
make
draws his riot gun and hits you with the butt.
No.
Oh no,
Like
no, he
contesting
hits
it.
I want
he
to
hits you with
intervene.
the.
I want to.
This is, as I said, guys, this is a serious game. If he misses you, he misses you. But you've just asked to contest with an Arbite. You're a citizen. He strikes at you with his shotgun butt. You can dodge if you want to dodge. This is not a surprise attack. You are close enough and you're an agent to be able to. You can.
Oh my god.
Why? Oh,
I'm shouting at the same time. I'll pay. No need to get violent.
So you take 9 damage to the left leg. If it goes through your armor and toughness, I want a toughness check. With toughness checks flat, I believe.
Fuck.
That's to the toughness. No, not toughness. That's to the torso.
Gets through.
46.
Okay, so can you roll me a toughness check, please?
Ooh.
So you are on the floor, dribbling, convulsing, for I believe it's 7 turns. So it's I think you're out for 7 turns. Just shaking on the floor, convulsing, and he stands there and just waits.
I want to
And
intervene.
once you've
Yeah.
stopped convulsing and you catch your breath and obey. Of course you will, citizen. One way or another. Do you just put the thrones out? Just take the thrones.
Is I pay, and I would also like to take a picture of him sneakily.
What?
You don't have a device to
Or
take
ask-
recording.
Or ask if we can take a picture of him.
No,
Does he
so
not
none of you
any
have the.
markings at all?
No, none of you have any recording software or any pick feeds or pick cams or anything like that. you didn't see the markings. Hang on, did you see the markings? Well, actually, you got no. Didn't I get Darius to roll again to see? Yeah. So Ezio, roll me awareness. Roll it flat. I won't give you any. Well, no. Oh, he's an imposing figure. Give me a willpower check first. And then if you pass, you can get a +10 whilst looking at this.
I am jaded.
Okay.
Can I put
Yeah,
my
no.
jaded
So
in?
you don't worry about the willpower then, because you're jaded. So you would be able to stare him down and look around. So yeah, no. Give me an awareness, and there'll be a +10 on this. So your target was 60. Unfortunately, you don't see the symbol. He bends down and picks up the thrones and places them in his pocket. And don't disrupt the peace again, citizen. You will not be warned again. He turns on his boot heel and walks off.
Can I guess
I
I
haven't
try
been-
again.
Can you do what?
Well, I would like to. What?
I've been trying to interject this entire time because I wanted to cast suggestion on him before everything happened. But can I interject before he leaves to basically just thank him and ask him for his name? Because what I originally wanted to do was interject while Ezio was down on the ground, not being able to do anything.
So once he's done with Ezio, seeing you there, like trying to get his attention, he stonewalls you the whole time. As he turns on his boot heel, he turns to you. What is it, citizen?
Forgive me, Almighties. I would just like to thank you for punishing this wretch of a hireling of mine, and I would like to ask your name so I can properly thank you for punishing this worthless hireling.
So the first thing he would say is, "Do not fret, citizen. I am doing the God Emperor's work. I do not need thanks for that. It is thanks enough." And secondly, you're an attractive girl.
Yeah.
So
Would you
you're
like
always
to
an attractive
thank
girl.
him, would
So
you?
there's no. I suppose it'd be willpower. He passes. Okay, he passes. So yeah, he says that to you, looks you up and down, and then walks off.
He didn't give me his name. Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't give. Again, giving your name out is a dangerous thing.
Can I at least cast, while he's walking out, can I cast telepathic link on him then? Because if I'm asking him for his name, I think he would think about his name, even if he doesn't say it. So I'm trying to read if he thinks about his name.
You can, by all means, that is an option. So out of character, just to let you know, he will be aware that you've looked at his mind if you fail. If you succeed, you get away with it. If you fail, then he feels something. He might not know what it is. I'm not saying he would know what it is. But yeah, when you fail with these types of things, they do know something's up. But whether or not they have the experience to know is a different matter.
I hate the fact that the thing is, my target I think would be 64. It's a good target. I don't know if I should risk it.
Isn't that what fate's for?
But, yeah. I'm going to cast it at the lowest power setting possible.
So 1.
Actually, I forgot to increase my psi rating on my psychic power, so my target should be 74. So, psychic rating 1. Modifier +10. And... Oh, look at that.
Fuck!
UT.
Damn it!
That
No bloody.
that is 8
bloody...
degrees of success.
Okay.
Uh,
So you wanted to look at his surface forts. So his surface
this
forts.
is- I do believe this is an opposed will test.
yeah, I think he
Yeah,
needs
it's
to oppose it.
opposed.
I don't think he can succeed it.
I mean, you have
Yeah,
got
but-
like 10. What was that? 8 degrees of success.
Eight.
8
Yeah.
degrees of success.
He had 1 in 100 chance of rolling a 1 and succeeding.
True.
I suppose one isn't always crit succeed though. On opposed, it's degrees of success.
Yeah.
You'd get an
opposed
extra
is always
one, but-
degrees.
I would still argue that a 1 would count for more than just.
No, I give 2. So if you get a natural 1, you do get 2 degrees for that natural 1. But it still wouldn't save him.
Fair enough, I suppose.
Yeah, he'd have 5 against 8. So yeah, close but no cigar. So as he walks off, you would get the
And then
surface
Charlie.
forts.
Your name?
Yep. So you did get a number of degrees of success, and he did fail. So you'll get a decent amount of his surface forts. One was the thought of basically fucking your character.
Reasonable.
Love it.
Then there's some unpleasant thoughts about what he'd do then. There's some thoughts about him enjoying beating down the moron who paid 300 thrones without accepting a ticket. There's also the fact that he didn't like that some civilian would stare him down. That really got his goat up. He's kind of still angry about it. That he wasn't intimidating enough just to scare the individual. He doesn't really think about his name.
Oh, damn it. Even as I'm shouting for his name.
The last thoughts you would probably get... The last thoughts you'd probably get from him. Would probably be... boredom. Yeah, boredom. As he gets out of your line of sight, he's turned around and heading straight back to the precinct. There's just, as he looks at it and is walking towards it, and the thought of doing nasty things to you, which you would think would definitely count as assault at a bare minimum.
I mean,
You're not quite
I'm
sure if his
amazed.
thoughts. You're not sure if his thoughts had you consenting to the sex or not. So rape and assault could definitely be flitting around in there. But then just absolute soul crushing, just defeat and boredom and drudgery as he goes back towards the fortress precinct.
hmm.
He sounds pleasant.
Doesn't he
Doesn't
just?
he?
You best hope he's not Romero.
The thing is, there is no possible way for me to follow him and try to charm him into telling me his name, because he already succeeded that and he didn't think about his name. So
So everyone give me a -20 intelligence test.
Flat intelligence? Oh, well, not flat intelligence.
Yeah, well, -20.
It's in the stat. Yeah.
Hmm.
oh, so goddamn close.
If it wasn't -20, I would have passed.
Do you know what,
Can
Jim?
we-
You got the closest. The thought goes through your head. Why the fuck did an Arbite come to deal with this? But it's then like, well, maybe you heard he was bored. You heard a lot of people, and it's right outside their front door. It might have been, it could be a number of reasons. You do note that when Ezio was spasming on the floor, the surrounding people who had got knocked, who are now, they've moved along in the line and they're now craning over to see what the Arbite did. There's a lot of sniggering coming from that way. And the people who looked very injured no longer look that injured at all.
Huh.
There is one person who's dead.
God
Wait,
damn it,
what?
Ezio.
He deserved it.
No, I'm joking.
There's a
Um,
bad man.
The small scribe who Ezio crushed and
No.
never bothered to, and none of you bothered to. You can see that he seems to be sat on a railing, kind of still a bit bewildered and trying to get their data slate to work.
I would have helped the scribe back up.
You apologised and ran away, in your own words.
Yes.
It's you.
and as the apology, I also adored getting them up. Though whatever. It's too late now.
I have video footage of you saying, "I apologise" and run away.
I know.
The
Can I
devil's in the
approach
details.
to the crowd that is talking and try to listen in, and also try to talk to some people? Who was he, basically? Why did he not buy this cup, beat the living shit out of a
Can
dude
I
for something
go?
so minor?
Can I go see if the scribe needs medical attention or if she's actually dead?
Sure, you can go over there. Anyone who wants to get information from the crowd, it's scrutiny, fellowship, or perception. There's a -10 for the drone that's going on.
Scrutiny fellowship.
So, Jenny, as you approach the scribe, you can see that it appears as if maybe there's something wrong with her leg. She's sat on a barrier at the moment, not barricade. And as she puts her foot down, you can see she winces a little bit, but there's definitely, she's doing that as a secondary action. The first action is she seems to be playing a lot with her data slate.
Do you require medical attention, citizen?
No, I should be fine. It's just her ankle. Thank you for
I'm gonna
asking.
medicate perception that.
Sure. From the way that she moves her foot, it's clear to you that there's pain there. It might just be bruising.
I am not doing that badly on Medicaid.
No, you are doing that badly on Medicare.
You're doing
apparently.
that badly. You said
She is
was
in robes, so scrutiny, yes. Perception or fellowship.
Scrutiny, fellowship, or what? Perception,
-10.
Or perception. Sorry, -10, yes, for the drone that's going on.
You mean awareness -10, right?
No, you wanted to
No,
try and listen in to get clues from the crowd. That's scrutiny.
Yeah. No. Wait. Either scrutiny, fellowship, or scrutiny, perception. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go for scrutiny, fellowship.
Are you certain? You seem quite.
Yes. Fuck yes.
Shit, I forgot the word.
Distrust.
You seem quite reluctant to use that leg. A medical attention would be preferable to amputation, would it not?
It's true, but I don't have the extra thrones to see the medic. I might get the medic in the precinct to have a look at it if he's got time on one of his breaks. I'm sure it'll be fine.
I did not realize they had dedicated. Is the medic in the precinct of the priesthood of Mars, or is he an Arbite?
Oh no, he's an Arbite. fully non-augmented, augmented. I think it would be the word.
You do seem quite preoccupied with that data slate of yours.
Yes. Although I may have just been bruised, I fear my trusty data slate may have. She reveals the black screen, and you can see her hitting the on button, and she even closes her eyes, or he, and you can see her lips moving. You think maybe she's saying a common prayer taught to
yes,
Imperial
the litany of
citizens.
ignition.
Yes.
I'm gonna
And hits the
send
button, but nothing
Mary?
happens. I should probably send it to a proper Mechanicus member to. You
Not
kind
dressed
of
as
look a
one.
bit strange.
Rest assured, I am of the priesthood. My current assignment merely requires me to be in a less glorious attire.
My master is a member of the Adeptus Mechanicus and a qualified Chirurgeon.
Thank you, Hector.
Oh, I wasn't aware. I'm, as I said, I don't really have the thrones. But by all means, if you wouldn't mind. He kind of gestures for you to take it, but not definitely as if it's proffered. It's not exactly demanding, asking, or accepting your request.
I would take it and try to see what's wrong with it.
There's definitely some mousiness about the person that you're not quite. It's a little bit odd, and you're not quite sure. But then you're a tech priest, so your oddities are quite normal to you. Can you give me a tech use test? It's not badly broken by any means, so you're able to remove the.
I'm
Wow.
using another fate point because this is bullshit.
There we go.
Okay. 88 twice.
I am spite fating.
So as you remove the back of the data slate, you can see that the power cell has been moved, squashed out of position, and a couple of wires are now crossing. You blow out some dust that has collected. This is quite common as you spent time as a youth in the Adeptus Mechanicus, doing this for many lazy magi who sent their data slates in to be cleaned by youths like yourself. But you would notice that this data slate, as you're checking the outside, and it's well worn. You can see the it's probably not the right word, but I'm going to use it anyway. I think it's right. The erosion on the side of the data slate, where many hands have held this, but it's in remarkable condition for something that's been around probably longer than you have. But you're easily able to move the wires back into their original positions and reseat the power cell quite easily. And as you close it up and hit the button, the data slate comes to life. And the last thing that she was looking at comes up. He, you're not quite sure. It is a list of things, but the list starts with the heading to-do list for Romero. And give me a awareness. How long would you hold on to it? This is a good point. How long would you hold on to it, checking and...
I mean, when I see Romero, I would like to. Here's the thing: is there any way I could copy that list onto my own data slate?
So, I'll give you a few options. You can bullshit for time and just try and read what you can. That will need a deceive, but even a mild failure won't matter too much. Mechanicus, again. For the trying to plug your data slate in, you don't have a mechadendrite of any type that would be able to assist you in this. So you'd have to go for a
cables for like a charging cable for the data. Charging cable may be able to transfer data.
So you'd normally find the cables in the things that you're getting a charge from.
Yeah.
The Imperium doesn't expect you to carry around chargers. The Mechanicus standardized pretty much all chargers so that any power point you can go to and pull out a cable to charge your device. You do have a few things as a Mechanicus. Your Mechanicus implants do give you some data access capability, but that wouldn't be to copy down. You're not augmented enough to have mini cogitators inside you to copy down onto data crystals. Data crystals? I think it's data crystals. And then passed on that way. So the only thing you could really do is do a sleight of hand to try and get your data slate close enough to where you can pass information off. Because I imagine that data slates can be connected to pass off data from one to another. Actually, I don't think they have Bluetooth unless you're talking mastercrafted.
Okay, because is this a list of I can just memorize?
You could memorize it. It's not a long list. Yeah, it's not a long list, really. Maybe 7 or 8 things on there.
And so, essentially, it lights up. I see the list. I'm going to look at them and say, one moment, it appears that the machine spirit is most upset. I will placate it momentarily.
Give me a deceive check with, I'll give you a plus 20 for that. Because you've added in
intelligence.
Yeah, for the role play there, I'll give it to you with intelligence if you so wish. Hey, well.
Bust.
Okay, so yeah, she's well, thank you very much. I didn't. I hope I haven't hurt it. But giving you a quizzical look of like, that's a very weird thing. You're a tech priest, so yeah, I believe it. You get more than enough time to read through the to-do list. So she's got on there obviously things to do for Ramirez. Look into case 217. Look into case 416.
Wait.
These are just I wouldn't worry too much about the case numbers, because it's wouldn't really mean that much to you. And then it's bringing in files to be logged at the main. I can't remember what it's called now. Chronicalarium. That's the one. That's the bloody word I'm looking for. To be uploaded to the main Chronicalarium for the Arbites precinct. And then there's get lunch, and then just a number of bring out case study for this case, bring out case study for. As you look at the list of just case studies that have been brought out and being taken back, and this seems like a really busy man. This seems like someone who is by no means like wasting their day away beating up morons who cause civilian disturbances.
So I'll try to commit to memory as much as possible, and then I will just hand her back the data slate of them and say, please avoid further concussions. They anger the machine spirit greatly. Treat this data slate with respect, and it will serve many more generations of scribes to come, as it has served many more before.
Oh, I'm sure I'll make sure I give it an extra polish tonight, Tech Priest. Thank you so much. When it says get lunch, it would say his lunch order. Yeah, it would say his lunch order of, recaf meat. He'd probably have a favourite, so it would be
meat and potatoes.
What is taters, precious?
The fuck's
the God Emperor's ration. No, the God Emperor's canteen. I like that. The God Emperor's canteen, which we will designate this one as G. Oh, where'd my pointer go? Freehand. Oh, okay. Delay. Damn you. G. This is gonna be difficult. I can't see where it is. Oh no, I can. C. God Emperor's canteen. The God Emperor's finest. Oh, it's excellent. It all fits now. And you do indeed see that they go into a queue. They're quite small, petite, as far as you can tell. The robes that they're wearing are at least 4 or 5 times too big. The hem has been rolled up and pinned multiple times. Like it's been rolled multiple times, rather, and then pinned. Same with the sleeves. This does not help their figure or appearance whatsoever. And they join a queue and head off to the God Emperor's canteen to get some food. So as your group regroups, possibly heading towards the car park, where you can relay your various information. Does anyone have Underworld lore? Or Arbeitslore? Or...
I have Underworld.
Ezio, roll for me Underworld with a... They would know of it. It would still be obscure, but you have a skill. Yeah, roll it flat, because I'd give the having Arbeit lore, I'd give it, but yeah, yours would be rolling flat. Unfortunately, you're just not sure, as Darius describes the symbol he saw on the Arbeit's armor. You just can't place it.
I would like to write down the color of his armor, the date, the timestamp, the location.
Okay, you have most of this information. To be fair, you're at the Arbeit's precinct. It happened at about 1 o'clock. His armor's matte black, like all Arbeit's. And the date is the 30th quarter of the year, is how I think it would be described in 40k. Why am I scrolling through the chat? I can't give you the year anymore because I haven't decided if I'm going to change the year or not. I want you guys to do more adventures in space.
I'll just write it down as a datum then, so do not hassle you too much with the finer details.
So the date at the moment is 030.998.M41. But I might change the year. That's not quite so close to the Imperium's ass falling out of its rectum. Yeah.
Only mild.
What was the time?
It's rectum falling out of its ass. That's the way around.
It's rectum.
What's the time again?
When does that happen? Oh, the timestamp for now is 030.998.M41.
their clock?
1 o'clock. And as Ezio sits down in the car, takes out his data slate and begins writing down the information.
Did I get any information from the crowd?
Oh yes. So as you're making your way through the crowd, you basically hear people, one, asking what all the commotion was about, two, people are telling the story as they're moving forwards, and the story's leaking back. So at this point, the crowd would be talking about how some villain jumped like Action Man down into the crowd and just threw people aside, and how the Arbites had to be called in, and he might have been a mutant, or perhaps a rogue Astartes, or...
Seriously, a rogue Astartes?
Yeah, like his power arm. The individual came down and like power fisted the ground, and there was a shockwave that sent people. There are thousands of people moving their way through, and you know, Chinese whispers multiplied by millions. It's,
You did a superhero landing. That's what you did.
Huh, okay. Nothing actually useful.
Did you rolled it with Fellowship, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
So you get to ask some questions. Are there any questions that you'd like to ask the bumpkin that you're currently walking next to as he makes his way? Well, not bumpkin, but they kind of are.
1 second.
Dun dun dun. As Liliana starts talking to this individual, she stares him deep in the eyes, and he almost becomes hypnotized as he's telling this story of this superhero. Her cheeks begin to flush red, and she gets a very kawaii look on her face.
You know I'm still here, right? It was just that there was a plane flying over my house. I would like to... Is this dude an enforcer? Is he a scribe? What is he?
He looks like a scribe.
I would ask him if he knows who that was. And I would ask if it's normal for an Arbites to come out of the precinct to just deal with something minor like this.
Hey, it's not protocol. No, not protocol. That's what the enforcers are for. But some of the Arbites, they're strapped for things to do, from what rumour mill says. Who knows, really? I mean, they're so secretive, you'd almost think they were run by the Inquisition at times, but less said about them, the better.
Would they even know about the Inquisition?
Oh, everyone knows about the Inquisition. They just think they're secret police or special investigators. They don't know about the demons, Xenos, and heretics so much. And Archaeotech.
When he says Inquisition, Liliana will make a sign of the Aquila, basically like, don't speak of them or they may appear. Whatever superstitious bullshit.
As for which one it was, no idea, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's one of the lazier fighters of the group, since special police have taken over. Security operations, it seems to have left some of them with less to do, and more with others with more.
Can I ask one more question out of this guy?
Sure.
You talked about the lazy ones? What do you mean?
Well, we get paperwork from all sorts of departments at the Administratum, so, occasionally I see a document or two. It states that, the Arbites aren't happy with the secret police taking over many of their roles when dealing with the public and so on. But, from what my boss tells me, years ago they were found of some corruption or another, and it was felt best that they be given a cooling off time, as it were, and the secret police fulfilled the role that were stripped from them in a way of discipline. But then again, that could be all rumours and hearsay. They also say that the guard were used in some operation on World, but again, I've never seen any paperwork for it, and as far as I'm aware, it's never been reported on. So, I mean, you can't just lose a few thousand guardsmen, can you?
I wince at that.
I think I respond. You should know.
You're not there, Ezio.
Yeah, this is just between them.
Because Liliana's walked off into the crowd to find someone to...
I thought it was in the car. Never mind, Ethan.
No.
I make... Hold up. I make this face when he says that.
Ah, yes.
Okay. I don't think I can ask more questions, can I?
You can. You got a 2. That's fairly good. Here you go. We'll poke it through. And be back.
Okay. I'm gonna ask him if they know who the names of the Outbites are, or if their names are secret to even him.
No, they don't know. They don't know who the Arbites' names are. It's again personal information that the Arbites HQ would know, and if you could get that information from the HQ, I think people could see the photo. I don't know. It is possible, but he personally wouldn't have. Well, how much XP have you got, and do you really want to buy a contact right now in the Administratum to do some work for you? He might end up dead if you don't spend enough
Do it.
experience on him.
I don't have experience to spend on him, but I do have money.
No, you get contacts through experience.
Yeah, I can't use him.
And I would have to make the XP amounts horrifically high if I were to calculate it into money, just to stop you guys from going, well, here's 100 thrones, I get 100 XP. It would have to be ridiculously high.
How much XP do you need? I'm actually curious now.
Okay, so XP for a contact is buying a contact. So, it can go up quite a lot. If you make him, for example, if you were to say make this scribe somehow dangerous, which is a thing that he will have on him, and I do stuff for, you gain 100 XP to spend on him. If you want him to be a trusted ally, or a trusted contact, that's 100 XP. And he has no skills, he's just a trusted contact who has no real abilities. If you want him, for example, because he'd need talents or skills, to get has a skill is 10 XP, is an expert at a skill is 20 XP, has a skill group is 50 XP, is an expert in a skill group is 50 XP, has a talent is 50 XP, has a special power 200 XP, has military contacts 50 XP, is an adeptus 200 XP, is in a group 50 XP, is an individual 10 XP. If they are not an adeptus, they can be killed.
So what happens if you choose not an individual?
So for example, if you, let's say you were going to spend minus 50 XP, so he would be distrusting. I can't read that word, but anyway, you have to spend 50 XP, 10 XP on making an individual. Because when you go to how to build a contact, you have to have, it's a prerequisite. It's either a group of people or it's an individual. You can't not pick one of them. So it really depends on how much XP you're willing to say, I want to spend. And again, remember, if you spend 200 XP on him, but he's not an Adeptus, he can be killed. Because he is just an individual. He'll have stats and things, but yeah, he's just an individual.
Is this in the book, or...?
Yes. Inquisitorial's Handbook, page 221 in the PDF, or page 220 in
okay.
in the rulebook.
I was looking at the second edition book.
Buying contacts.
Oh shit, no. Not... Trove, not Trader of Lehman Ross.
So, these contacts can be used to gain availability on items, to lower the price on the cost of items, but they do have to be specialised, and you can't keep pumping XP into them. Once they're created, they're created. And if I decide that they do really well on a job, I can give them XP where they'll spend in a specific area. So obviously if they roll really well on getting you intelligence, I'll give them 10 XP, and I might, or 20 XP, and I might let them spend that to get 1 boost in intelligence. And the longer you have your contact and keep them alive, the better they'll come eventually. So as the non-Pacific member of the Adeptus Ministratum is kind of talking to Liliana, do you want to grab this individual and make him your contact?
Or your concubine?
Although you're really thirsty tonight, aren't you?
Because again, there's, you're going to have to persuade him, for one. There is going to be a little bit of RP, but of course, if you say you're going to pay for him, then it goes without saying he will acquiesce to your request, begrudgingly, perhaps. But then you will have to spend some XP when the session ends.
I mean, it would be a really useful contact.
You can take your contacts with you later on in the game. They come with you. They're almost like a hireling. Well, no, they are exactly like an NPC hireling who will, when you do eventually leave this planet, if you all survive, including the hirelings, they come with you and help you later on in the game as well. Or you can lead them places, and they can send messages for you. Now, for example, if you left them in this world and had enough money to be able to send a message through an astropath to a contact in this world, they could do research for you connected to a world's I had said the word earlier.
History?
No, Rekla, it was something...
Chronicarium?
Chronicalarium, that's the one. They would have access to a world's Chronicalarium. They could look up what you need and then send a message to your ship in the arse end of nowhere, and you have the information. And you can trust it because they're your loyal contact if you make them loyal. So we'll leave it up to the group if you want to, or if you just want to pass him on by and wait for another.
I don't have XP, so I'm gonna leave this to the group.
Well, no, at the end of the session, you'll all have XP. The end of the session is close. So you can spend the XP that you would have got this session on him. That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
But if you want to pass him up,
you XP to spend if you want.
You can do this at any time. You can do this with pretty much anyone to certain degrees. I'll obviously make it harder for you if you're going out looking for one than if it naturally happens, but you can hijink this guy and then go and coerce him into joining your little brigade.
I mean, to be honest, if there was one I would try to hijinks, wouldn't be this one. Would it be the one that Jenny was talking to?
Okay. So
small,
she is
male,
ascribed to she is ascribed to or assigned to
Romero Thorn, which would make it,
Romero's. So trying to get her as a contact, she would have to leave him to then join up with you and work as your agent in a way. It'd be a lot more difficult. You might have to complete their quest line first. Whereas this dude is a member of the Adeptus Administratum. If you want to grab him now, you can. Or you can let him go and he'll wave off to the pretty girl who asked him some weird questions. He's waving. He's the pink is leaving your cheeks as he walks off into the distance. You go and get recaf and nibbles.
Yeah. Nah, I'm not gonna grab this one.
Give nipples. That's not bad, actually.
So the contact leaves you, and you return to the group with the information that you have learned.
Yeah.
Would you care to do anything else whilst you are here? Or do you want to pass up a bit of time and see what happens at the end of the day?
I will just... I'll just relay to the group everything I heard and correlate with Jenny what she told about Romero being the guy that is basically a workaholic and doesn't stop working. So that guy that I met, if we can remember him next time, isn't Romero.
I mean, he's either a workaholic or someone is making him into a workaholic. Maybe he's getting off the assignments because he asked too many questions.
It's very conspiratorial of you.
Wait, what? If one guy's got a shit ton of work and the other guy's got fuck all to do. What?
Why do you think that is?
Usually because the other one is incompetent. Or he's got some friends in high places.
Or he simply doesn't really want to work, and he's just living off the, benefits of his connections to a certain group.
He didn't seem like the nicest of fellows. I doubt he's an outstanding worker.
What
Yeah,
is it?
he
I
was-
wandered off for a minute.
He was bored, and he was very enraged by the fact that Ezio didn't really look intimidated by him.
I mean, we're trying to be undercover here, so...
Yeah, undercover would have been shit terrified of an Arbite.
I mean, I ate him, sadly.
Yeah, and
Master will get it. Oh, he will get it.
at least we narrowed him down as probably one of the ones we want.
Yeah. From what I gathered when I probed his mind, yeah. Doesn't seem like Romero.
Just Mordecai just gives you a look of, I didn't know you could do that. Cool. Makes mental note. Guess mainly because he hasn't really seen many of your powers other than shocking people.
I think you know about me being able to use telepathic link, don't you? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, this is the first time I've
I
seen
don't
it.
think you've ever used it on anyone.
No.
It's just that I remember in the very first session, me whispering to everybody, I read people's minds.
Oh yeah, no. Sorry. I'm a dum
Yeah.
dum.
I completely forgot that. To be honest.
How dare you?
Did I update the number on this? I didn't. Still 17 then. Should be 18. Never mind. As funny that I thought of that as you called me a dum dum. It's just like dum dum, dum dum.
Dum dum, you give me gum gum.
That's an old one, man.
That's
Yes,
all? Really?
it's as much as it was funny watching you on the ground, like being shocked like that, don't try and antagonize them further.
Wait. That might be just what we need, actually.
A good
This guy
laugh.
walked all the way. This guy walked all the way out of the building just to give fucking Ezio a fine, because he's got fuck all to do. If he's one of the targets, I mean, this is one way to get him out of the building.
How are we going to make it look like an accident in that case? If
You
he's
might not have to.
responding?
Just get Ezio to barrel through the fucking crowd again. The hell are you even barreling through the crowd for?
Darius was lost. I tried to rescue Darius. He was
Bomb.
tried.
I was asking that in character.
Yeah, I answered in character.
Could I tempt Sinisians and kind of focus on the Arbites building to see if they have any psychers inside?
So,
I did pass
would
it
you
earlier,
know
but
this?
didn't
You
say it.
probably would know this. Psychers aren't really kept in. Psychers are normally kept in inquisitorial buildings.
Yeah, but it's more like they might, one of the.
You
one
can
of
do
them might be a
Sinisians
psyker.
by all means. Oh yeah, you can do Sinisians. That's not a problem. But yeah, the Psychers are normally kept in inquisitorial buildings because of Ordo Malleus.
It's more if they have any sanctioned psychers in there. That I was kind of looking for.
Yep, by all means.
4 degrees of
They
sickness.
do. They do. You can
Oh dear.
you can see that there is a low-leveled, low-powered psyker within the fortress precinct.
I just
The mind would definitely make you think sanctioned, because I believe Sinisians does let you be able to tell whether or not you can tell that they are sanctioned. They are meant to be there. You don't see any warding in the building.
Yeah,
We can't
the way they
sense any.
protect their mind and stuff.
Yep.
I don't think it's sanctioned. It's bound or unbound, but even then, some chaos stuff are bound psychers at the same time.
Yeah, you can be a sanctioned psyker from the Astra Psychana, but you can fall to chaos. So then you're an Astra. You're one of the most powerful weapons the Imperium has at its disposal that's turned to chaos, which is the worst thing for the Imperium.
Yeah.
Still kind of as a bound psyker, but
Yeah, but they have someone that, in all likelihood, should be there that has psychic powers.
Yes. But they are
I just-
low-leveled, low-powered.
Yeah, I just look at Liliana and go, we should probably be more careful of our abilities. They have someone in there who might be able to detect us.
Oh, lovely.
Not
Nothing to worry about.
They're
I'm
not
gonna-
particularly strong, but it's still a risk.
I did try to minimize how much power I used.
No, you did well. It's just for future knowledge.
I wonder how likely it is someone in carapace armor can get crushed to death under a horde of people.
It happens.
I marvel at how your mind works, Darius. It's.
I'd imagine it's suffocation that really gets to them when the corpses start falling on top of them.
Yeah.
It's gonna look. Tell me, Darius, are you thinking about creating a riot and throwing him under the riot so he gets stomped on?
I mean, not a riot, but
I like the idea of a riot. Good thinking, Darius.
I was thinking more
Nothing
Ezio goes in there and
against
pushes
using
someone
a
over.
riot to get our goals, but
What I was thinking was
Kinda
Ezio goes in there and
high-profile.
pushes someone over, start the whole big fucking chain of madness again. He comes out, and as he's interrogating Ezio, I don't know, like a bomb threat or something happens and causes the crowd to charge the opposite direction.
It is possible. You've seen the civil unrest. You've noticed the crowds gathering, and when you got here, there was a crowd outside the cathedral.
Yeah.
And if there was a bomb threat, why not actually plant a bomb?
Well, you couldn't really do a bomb threat. You would need to. There are threats all in the Imperium. Until something actually happens, they don't really do much.
I have some minds.
I mean, I think
Yes, Ezio. Why don't you throw those mines into the middle of a crowd? That would probably stir things up.
So an
seen enough
explosion
of
wouldn't
the
necessarily. You wouldn't necessarily need to do an explosion. I mean, gunfire, an accident, someone shouting out, "Oh my God, it's coming down!" I mean, that could send a few people off.
I mean, I've got
Run!
one mine.
I mean, if you could set up a mine with a detonator in an alleyway, and there's no one there, as long as the noise is loud enough, it could scare a lot of people.
I've got 3 mines, 3 frags, and 3 infernos.
That reminds me, I need to invest in some grenades.
Liliana, still smiling, still giddy, takes a couple steps away from Ezio. He says he's strapped full of explosives.
I'm not having them on me.
I have to think not. Jesus Christ.
I mean,
I'm taking a risk bringing so many fucking pistols with me in my backpack.
Why have you got so many?
It helps to be prepared. And
Yeah,
I can't carry my lasgun.
sometimes you need a big boom. A big boom.
No.
Wait a second.
Oh no. Don't like-
Um,
I don't like the sound of that.
I would like to point out that we still haven't got any street noodles.
We don't. Let's go get some street noodles. I'm hungry.
we should get some street noodles, but I do have a Stormchild hand cannon. That could pierce carapace, right?
Oh yeah. Well, what's its pen? If it has
Pen
pen,
too.
it can pierce carapace. It has penetration. I mean, so
I only
I think
have-
they've got 5 armor, and then you've got to go through their toughness.
Which is usually about
So
3,
I mean,
4.
removing 2 from that, so 3 armor, then their toughness.
Yeah, with that 2 pen, that turns their fucking armor into flak armor. So. Or the equivalent
Yes,
of
yes, it
flak armor.
does.
I mean, we could just set up some arson, although I don't like the chances of their friend in there spotting me.
Where are we right now? We're like in a car park.
Yeah, I thought we
Yeah,
were
you're
heading
kind
to
of near the car park because it's out of the way. Not many people here are actually using it. I know it shows a lot of cars there, but it's almost empty, except from a few that are clearly empty. There's no one there, so you kind of have
Can
the
I
area
move
to
into
talk. Just
Can
remember,
I
you
move
do
into a
have a
little bit of
driver
cover or
there.
something?
You do have a
Yeah.
driver there. He is from a gang. You know, he was hired by a gang, so most of what you're talking about is safe. But Inquisition stuff, try and zip.
Can I jump into the car for a moment just so I can open up my backpack in peace?
Yeah.
Alright. I'm opening up my backpack and reloading the hand cannon because I didn't actually fucking reload it yet.
It's a large vehicle. I think I said it was like a 6-wheeler, so it's blends in more. This is not like a hired car that would stand out more. It is more of a truck that ferries people round to do jobs.
Alright. So I jump in, close the door, kind of throw my back on the ground and open it up, get the storm child out, load up the one bullet I was missing, and jump back out again. I was like, alright, I got 4 spare and 5 in the clip. Or 5 in the chamber. Oh, fuck, what the hell do you call it? It's a revolver. Fucking cylinder. 5 in the cylinder.
Are we really doing this right now?
No, this is just in case. I just remembered I haven't reloaded yet.
Just you just get a look of like, what the? Fine, okay, accept it.
So, as you're in the car park and Liliana's come back to relay her information, and you're kind of talking around, Darius jumps into the wagon to grab a bullet. You see that about half an hour, maybe an hour has passed as the wave of people descended upon this place from different workstations. The tide recedes, much like my hairline, and the people go back to their work. And the streets empty quite a lot. There's still a lot of people milling about. Those who have either finished their work shifts or are waiting for their shifts to begin, or just socialising with people as they come and go before heading down to their local drinking spot. And sadly, I think this is the point where the servo skull's hollow field flickers. And just for a moment, above the party, there is a servo skull hovering in the air with a very large, very, very large, almost un-imperial looking lens recording. As the hollow field activates again, it does a circle silently zooming round our party as it flies off into the sky. And that is where we end our episode.
But
So,
did we get the noodles at the end?
Yes.
As the servo skull zooms off, it does a 180, turns round, and it just sees you all just deciding upon something, Darius putting his gun away, and you walking towards the noodle stand, which happens to be at the God Emperor's canteen. And that's where the episode ends. So I certainly hope you've enjoyed this episode, where a lot of legwork was done, and just checking out and scoping out, planning for the eventual assassination plot to take place. I certainly hope you have enjoyed the episode, and if you have missed out on any episodes and want to catch up, you can always find these shows uploaded at my YouTube channel, where I can only tell you that it's the same avatar, because that UTLR, whatever it is far too long for me to try and memorise. So, without further ado, thank you all so much, and I certainly hope I will see you on Thursday, when we will be carrying on our Warhammer Fantasy campaign, where the guys have some stuff to do. So, bye-bye. Only one day. So, take care everyone, and as always, bye-bye for now.
Bye.
See